See how long this is gonna last. See how long we're gonna do with that. Huh? God. That's cause light anomalies are kind of cool though. Let's just trip out on those for a second. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Margie. I'm a Hale empath. That's direct sunlight. Almost indirect sunlight. That would be direct sunlight. Source, a source, not the source, but wow, that's really, look at, you can see the freaking, see, oh, because our eyes are starting to be more like camera lenses. Ooh, look at that, we got a freaking beam of light through here. We got, whoa, trip out on that. Hey, okay, hey, my name's Marge. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. God's already here, we already invited him into the room. That is cool. So that's a, so I always understood, like, if smoke burns certain colors, you can tell what it is by the molecular structure of it, the gases it emits when it transitions from one state of matter to another. Anyway, I decided to suit up and show up today because, well, we got work to do, folks. It's the new earth. Now people got to start stepping into it. It's been the new earth, you know, the timelines have already been set. The outcomes have already been. Now people just have to start acting accordingly. So it was funny. I had the freaking wildest realization. It was like, how about this for an idea, a thought? I had a really big idea this morning. And that is, I've dressed like this for a long time. Ever since I was a little girl, I love bow ties. And then a couple years ago, I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I was like, oh, that's where I get the bow tie thing from. Oh, that's, because we're drawn in our life, we draw things that we're attracted to. And so, I've always been very vibrant, very outwardly, extra. And then, so, I like my pants, too. These are just Wranglers at Walmart. They're like tactical pants. But I roll them up and make them more tactical capris. Yeah. It's like, I couldn't find them in black after the Rona kicked off forever because all the freaking meathead freaking heifer cops, because I was fat then, so I was in 36 at 30, I ate my feelings more then, but all the smaller size, there are plenty of the smaller sizes, so I just got a smaller size, and I finally got a pair in my size. Just keep the spoon out of your mouth, just put the spoon down. That's what my brother's practice wife, her dad told me, because I was like, I'm going to go in the Air Force, and he's like, you're going to have to put the spoon down first. All right. He was in the German War, and he fought for his country. And then he came over here, and well, he and a lot of his buddies were just put into the churches, and they just hit him in clergy and just called them priests and stuff. But they were dirty, rotten, freaking kid-eating, freaking rapists and stuff. And so, well, we know how that storyline goes. My cup. I don't believe in miracles. You like my bow tie? It's dogs, because I'm manifesting. The full moon is soon. And so I'm manifesting a place for all of my dogs. See? Everything's deliberate. People do things on purpose all the time. I do. I don't know how, why would, but then, okay. So what I realized this morning when I was telling Mom, I was like, because I was at Divided We Fall, and I got really motivated and fired up over there. And then I was like, I got to suit up, because I was like, I'm looking for a place. I'm telling everyone I'm looking for a place, and so he's going to keep his eye out. That was a really cool, he and I are going to have a conversation, and I'll get to report on this later, because I'm not getting him on the same vibe that I'm trying to get him on. But a few days ago, I watched his talk, and I met him through Key Jin, because she recommended him. And I listened to him, I'm like, I've been around this guy before. This guy is very familiar to me. And then this morning, he's like, oh yeah, somebody said something, oh yeah, when I lived in Omaha, that's That's how cheap the rent. And I was like, dude, I lived in Omaha 5 years, and I think he kind of glanced at it and said, yeah, well, I lived there a couple years, and then he went back to visit. But I'm like, dude, I was all over. If you came back to visit, what do people do? They go downtown to the old market. I was all over the place. We have crossed paths on the 40th parallel. And he's going to keep an eye out and try and find a place, you know. And, I have invitations. I'm not going to freaking blindly, okay, I'll be right there. No, So you gotta feel things out and just can't, because I used to jump into shit. I jumped into freaking moving to Oregon. And, whoa, look how that worked out. So I thought it would be important today that I suit up and I show up, And I was thinking about that today because I made some notes. Here it is. Here are my flowers. They're at the end of their shelf life, but I put some, I put like a couple of these and a couple of these and a carnation. Pressed it in my dictionary that's about this thick. It's one of those second edition Webster dictionaries with the really cool maps. Oh yeah, I got it from Grandma Gardner. So if anyone went to Project City School anytime between the 30-something years that she was everybody's grandma, I got her freaking dictionary, man. So if that doesn't hold a lot of freaking... Oh, I've been given some significant gifts in my life. So... Oh, the notes I wrote were on another piece of paper in the house. It was about suiting up and showing up. You can see, oh my gosh, my third eye is activated. What the heck? I'm not perfect. Oh my goodness, I must be a spirit having a human experience, and there ain't no perfection in that. So what had occurred to me today is that I've always dressed boldly and brightly, and then I'm like, holy heck, if that isn't my armor of God. Because the friendly people come forth to me, but the people that are, that are just disdain, they're disdaining themselves, so they just reflect it everywhere in the world. It's all disdain. That they come at me. So I've had to learn how to defend myself, But the thing of it is the things I was doing were not, you can defend yourself, but you don't have to bring yourself down to other people's level. Ever. You don't. You take the good and leave the rest in every situation. You don't, yet, I gotta keep reminding myself, hate the sin, not the sinner. Hate the sin, not the sinner, because I've been the sinner. So whenever I hate the sinner, I'm hating myself for trespasses that I've trespassed against others. And then that makes me a hypocrite. Sometimes I'm a hypocrite because I gather information and change my mind and evolve and presented with new data, and I'm like, oh, that, and I talk with other people and get their perspective, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, But I try not to take on anyone else's reality as solely my own. And I've done that. I've been led astray. A lot of us have been led astray. I was easy to manipulate. They do that on purpose. That's why they molest kids. It makes people easy to manipulate. I watched a talk by this new reporter channel that I found recently, and just 800,000 kids a year, man. But then I wonder how many, are so freely given away. How many parents are selling their kids too, just turning them over to the system for some sort of advancement in life, whatever that might be or look like. So I was also thinking about, that's why, and they're in the military and maintenance, especially because everybody's in grease and oil. Last thing you want to do is on the weekend make your boots shiny or press your uniform or do anything exceptional, because you're just so tired from being beaten down all day and just turning wrenches, and it's hot and it's disgusting, and then they pull you away from your regular duty to go do bullshit like go stand by the flight line for hours and wait for a general, literally wait for a general so everyone can wave. Do you even fucking think that general was looking out the window? Do you think so? So you just wasted freaking 3 hours of 20 people, so 20 times 3, That's 80 man hours of horse shit for a pony show, for swinging dicks. That's what swinging dicks is why I could only do 6. That was funny. Swinging dicks is why I could only do 6. Because it was so freaking saturated with who's in charge and how they feel that way and which way it's hanging. You over here, you over here. Why? Because I said so. Okay. See, I was too old. I was old enough to know better when I went in. That thing's just growing right as I look at it, isn't it? Another realization I had this morning. I didn't finish this story about Brady. But when he said that he was in Omaha, I'm like, dude, I know our passive. I met that guy. I've been face to face. We've exchanged words in some capacity. I just hope they were pleasantries because I've been a dick to a lot of people. I'm trying to clean up the wreckage of my past, and it's divine time. So, what the note I wrote here are people. Okay, I feel like we are drawn to the missing aspects of ourselves that show up in others. That's why we keep dating the same people with different faces. They all act the same, but they just look different. It's a vibrational frequency in people. And that made me think of Wizard of Oz. When she was scared, when she was in her, in her ethers, she was calling all aspects that she didn't have in her wake time because she was powerless against the people. The in some capacity, and then so when she was in Oz, which I look at as meditate state or consciousness collectively, where there is all dimensions and there's a universe for every person's perspective on this planet, so that by definition makes this a multi-universe experience, but at the same time we're all plugged into the same stuff. And so when she had the aspects, the courage, the heart, and whatever the other one, she had to summon all those. But ultimately, as she found out, it was all horseshit, and everything comes within in herself. And then when she went back to 3D world, then she met these guys. She found her aspects that she reclaimed in other people. So. And a lot of people keep people in their lives that just negative. They just drain them. Energy. Everything's energy. I don't look at friendship, and my brother looks at it as a bank account where you add, deposit, and sometimes you got to close the account. I don't see it that way. Everything's energy, and energy doesn't close the account. Energy just goes on, so you got to rectify the energy and make the energy right, because it ain't ever going to go away. People can ignore stuff, shut stuff out. You can all you want, but when you are triggered into that awakening of recall, you don't get a choice in it. It's going to fucking happen, and everybody on the planet right now is recalling something. And if it's not in this incarnation, it's in a past incarnation. So people need to make that right. And if you can't make it right with the people that you wrong, make it right by never doing that shit to anybody else again. People complicate things, man. Make it simple. Make it simple. So they show up in others as others, like Dorothy and okay. And then the last note I made was people are distracted. People are so distracted. They're so distracted by what everybody else is telling them that they don't know how to think for themselves anymore. But more and more people are like, no, that's horseshit, because they're listening to energy. No, that's crap. No, that's a bunch of crap. No, that's horseshit. I don't buy that. I was listening to Demetra. I think that was what her channel, Demetra something, and she said it, and she was like, from my perspective, from what I gather, is she was talking to an administrator about a class. And see, that's the thing. I'm like her. It's like, they would have like Temple Grandin, come to like, and all these at UNO when I lived in all, because I knew a lot of people in academia. I was in academia. I worked in academia at a university. And so they would have all these speakers and there's pretenders, and they would have all these forums and talk about socioeconomic, impact of kids and this and all this stuff. And I was just like, why do you guys are paying all these people to talk about stuff that have studied other subjects and written books on it, but none of these motherfuckers have ever been through shit in their life? Because if you sit down with one of them and be like, okay, well, I was raped when I was 10 months old. I was sexually, I saw this, the abuse I saw, the abuse I experienced, the neglect, blah, 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 where's that is the actual, and that is all the stuff that I left in my past, in my old energetic field. And the only reason why I even acknowledge them is so I can connect with other people that have been through that shit, so that they can know that there is a place on the other side, because so many people are stuck in their shit right now. They're just stuck. They're stuck in their loops of like, this is all my life is going to be. It's never going to be anything anymore. And you just got to start doing actions. If you do one thing different every day, like Brady just cleaned his room. It's that season. There's all this extra energy in the air. My cat is all over the place. He just wants out all the time. Because the spirits are everywhere. The closer we get to Halloween, the spirits are ramping up. And we don't get to determine which spirits are good or which spirits are bad. The only thing that makes it a demonic spirit is a spirit that is in dis-ease, that just needs to be released back into source. If it wants to. A lot of the demons don't. Just freaking rebuke them. Name of Jesus Christ, get the fuck. Nobody wants you here, you demon. And most of them are freaking frivolous, sissy cowards too. There's a lot of evil, dark, big bad mofos, but I mean, you get somebody that fights back, and people ain't ready for it. It's just freaking standing in your power. And even if I've had guys in the grown men like in their 50s. Run at me full board right out here, and I'm just like this. I didn't budge, and he came running right up, and he stopped here, and he was like, ugh! And I was just like, dude, your fucking breath smells like ass. You might want to check on that. Go see a doctor. You might, And then like it was just this place, man. There's so much demonic energy in Salem, Oregon, man. And there's that's what they're doing downtown. They're freaking renovating, getting rid of all the proof, they're filling all the tunnels underneath the the capitals. Better, brick over all the entrances and get rid of all the stalls that were they Oh, this was rad. I don't tweet twat. I don't redo that much. But this was an account that came up last night. Oh, that's rad. Where am I? Profile. Tweets and replies. Oregon foster kids were sent here. And that's the thing, is you can keep people silent, but they will let their voices be heard. We will let our voices be heard. And this is how they did it. It was clever. Let's see if I wonder if I can share. Copy. I wonder if it'll let me. No, it isn't. It's not going to let me. Wait. Marge, what are you doing? Focus. That's not... Oh, is that the picture I put up for the thumbnail? Where am I? There I am. Here's the article for it. Nope. Is that gonna? Yep, there it is. There's the article for it. Hey, DDK. Good day. Hi, VM. Yeah. But that's the thing, the delay isn't very long. So this article that I just posted, it's about, because I go to a freaking cool dude and I go to a barber. His name's Calvin. He's badass. Connection cut, man, and he's kept his heart space the whole time. He's kept his prices minimal, and he's just been steadfast, and he's just been a good guy, and we've had some very, very wonderful conversations. And he likes my cookies. And because I know people that have been in the fosters. I'm gonna let these light anomalies freaking kick in and let's see if you guys can see any good stuff or bad stuff or whatever. Let's see what we're vibing with today. And he was in the system, and I've known people that have been in the system. I actually tried to get into the system, and was like, the freaking counselor was just wrote me off as an emotional female, probably on my period. So he never looked into it, but I mean, I was probably one that probably should have been, because my mom had a boyfriend, and he literally tried to murder me. So I mean, they kept the cane that he took, that was my mom's, because she had a stroke that he caused or contributed to. He might not have caused it, but he substantially contributed to it. And he grabbed her cane and broke it over his knee and was chasing me around the car and he was trying to get me. And I was just egging him on like because I kicked him in the back of the head. That's how it all started, because he was starting to get agitated and he was starting to come after me. And so I kicked him in the back of the head. And Mom pulled over. I was 15. Then RPD comes along after we dump him off at his sister's house. RPD, yeah, good old RPD, come along and draw their firearm on me, a 15-year-old girl. Yeah. Freaking those guys have been scumbags since, for always. I've never heard any about, they're really great guys. They used to send Officer Don out in the community to make them all look at, listen to the police, singing his little songs with his guitar, and then, and then one of them's pointing a gun at you. I'm like, I thought you were the good guy. What do you, whatever. Must be just me. This stuff must have just happened to me. Evidently it doesn't happen to anybody else in the world, right? Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just a freaking drop in a bucket. What was he telling it? Okay, so I got a little sidetracked there. Teachers, high school. Nope. I totally lost it. I must have to switch gears. This is why I drink decaf. I can't drink regular. So, gets me all spun up. And I gotta stay down here. I gotta stay on an even plane, man, because I got things to do. It's almost time to make Mom's breakfast. So, that article. That's what it was. I was talking about Calvin, and so he was in the system. And then I've known other people that have been in the system, and I'm just like, and being in the system, I just haven't been in the same systems they have, but I've been in systems. Everything's a system. Everything's a club. You work at a place, that's its own system within itself. If you're in a family with other people, that's a system within itself. Anybody that you need to rely on, that's your own ecosystem. That's your system within yourself. So there's this place called... More than 40 states have sent their most vulnerable kids to these privately. They're for-profit. They are not non-profit. They are for-profit facilities run by for-profit company named Sequel. And you go in, you look at these pictures that these kids posted up, that these people, these folks, and these ain't lies. These ain't lies. It says, fuck this place and the staff for hurting them. Because, that's what they would do, is they would take kids, they don't give people more money to help solve their problems. They take away the things and then put them in the system so then they can profit on your children. In all kinds of ways. They would take, and then there's accounts all over the place of them taking like 12-year-old girls, young, pre-teen, 9, 10, and putting them in sheriff's cells in small podunk freaking Oregon towns because the cracks are so deep you're never gonna find them. Then ultimately they end up freaking eating them. or selling them to people, that do. Yeah, these are what all of our, because it's so prevalent. 800,000 children a year, unaccounted for. And it's like, well, how many are being given up freely? And maybe people are just having kids just so they can do that. And oh, maybe it's all been going down forever because it's a belief system that people have that if you eat someone, that you will take on, you get bonus points for it, for shit, for their devils and their Luciferi tales and stuff like that. That's why all these like sadist freaking musicians are still working until their 80s or 90s. They told Luciferi that they would always work for them until their last breath. Because a lot of them should just not anymore. Just don't. And all these people in Hollywood that are coming up, it is just like, dude, people that make a living by just playing aspects like everybody, but doing it for money. I don't really care. They're so which character are you playing when you're talking to me? Which role are you playing? So I got no use for none of you. Just. And I love these churches, man. Churches are the freaking best, aren't they? They just freaking crack me up. They just want to take all especially the mega ones. They take millions and billions of dollars. The Luciferis, the popes of Lucifer, take it all. Just have faith, And it's like, are they putting a God in front of there, or are they putting God? I got to go back and read the text because I've been listening to more Bible studies. I don't like to read yet much. I used to, I think. I don't just have too much stuff to do, and there's too many interruptions. So maybe one day. Anyway, I think that's about all I got. I'll be back later on. Hope you have a rad day. Peace. Oh! Nope. Did I finish the Bradley story? That one will be continued because I'll get a hold of him. I'm going to figure out where we freaking cross paths.